Jealousy is not contemptible. Real love has a beak and claws. A couple who go on living together merely because that was how they began, without any other reason, was that what we were turning into? Women's mutual understanding comes from the fact that they identify themselves with each other, but for the same reason each is against the others. It's only arrogance if you're wrong. Each of us is responsible for everything and to every human being. She was ready to deny the existence of space and time rather than admit that love might not be eternal. Work would be terribly boring if one did not play the game all out, passionately. It must be said in addition that the men with the most scrupulous respect for embryonic life are also those who are most zealous when it comes to condemning adults to death in war. To be free is not to have the power to do anything you like, it is to be able to surpass the given toward an open future. The body is not a thing. It is a situation, it is our grasp on the world and our sketch of our project. When women act like women, they are accused of being inferior. When women act like human beings, they are accused of behaving like men. Girls are weighed down by restrictions, boys with demands to equally harmful disciplines. One cannot start by saying our earthly destiny has or has not importance, for it depends on us to give it importance. If I were proud of anything in my life, it would be of our love. I feel we have to tell to each other as many things as we can, so we are not only lovers, but the closest of friends at the same time. If you haven't been happy very young, you can still be happy later on, but it's much harder. You need more luck. Habit has a kind of poetry. Anger or revolt that does not get into the muscles remains a figment of the imagination. I take on a shape and an existence only if I first throw myself into the world by loving, by doing. To catch a husband is an art, to hold him is a job. No one is more arrogant toward women, more aggressive or scornful, than the man who is anxious about his virility. If you live long enough, you'll see that every victory turns into a defeat. Marriage is traditionally the destiny offered to women by society. Most women are married or have been, or plan to be, or suffer from not being. Oppression tries to defend itself by its utility. She was not to look beyond herself for the meaning of her life. In every society, the artist or writer remains an outsider. The writer of originality, unless dead, is always shocking, scandalous. Novelty disturbs and repels. On the day when it will be possible for woman to love not in her weakness but in her strength, not to escape herself but to find herself, not to abuse herself but to assert herself, on that day love will become for her, as for man, a source of life and not of mortal danger. The fact that we are human beings is infinitely more important than all the peculiarities that distinguish human beings from one another. Self-consciousness is not knowledge but a story one tells about oneself. Woman has always been man's dependent, if not his slave, to sexes have never shaped the world in equality. And even today woman is heavily handicapped, though her situation is beginning to change. There is only one solution if old age is not to be an absurd parody of our former life, and that is to go on pursuing ends that give our existence a meaning. I tore myself away from the safe comfort of certainties through my love for truth, and truth rewarded me. One's life has value so long as one attributes value to the life of others by means of love, friendship, indignation, and compassion. To give space when what one most yearns for is closeness, that is both the great test and great tragedy of love. That's what I consider true generosity. You give your all, and yet you always feel as if it costs you nothing. Marriage is a career which brings about more benefits than many others. To lose confidence in one's body is to lose confidence in oneself. I wish that every human life might be pure transparent freedom. The point is not for women simply to take power out of men's hands, since that wouldn't change anything about the world. It's a question precisely of destroying that notion of power. No woman should be authorized to stay home and raise her children. Society should be totally different. Women should not have that choice, precisely because if there is such a choice, too many women will make that one. Self-knowledge is no guarantee of happiness, but it is on the side of happiness and can supply the courage to fight for it. Authentic love must be founded on reciprocal recognition of two freedoms. For each of them, love would be the revelation of the self through the gift of the self and the enrichment of the universe. I am too intelligent, too demanding, and too resourceful for anyone to be able to take charge of me entirely. No one knows me or loves me completely. I have only myself. One is not born, but rather becomes a woman. I was made for another planet altogether. I mistook the way. Change your life today. Don't gamble on the future. Act now without delay.